We are back live, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. Jason Burmis is going to pop in for about 10 minutes towards the end of the hour to break down the Cyber Security Act. Later, after Ron Paul leaves us, I want to get into Coffee Party founder is Obama campaign operative. Now, we announced 2 months ago and got the domains a month ago that I was going to launch a coffee party. And I'm not going to go out and organize. I'm not going to go out and actually have rallies. Just to put the idea out, break down what the coffee party should do, wake up the Tea Party, that it's being taken over by Republicans, controlled establishment partisanship, and that the Republicans are going to sell us out. Now, we know Obama is, and now one of his operatives is setting this up and getting all this attention by the media to head off our coffee party. I knew I should launch this, and it was listeners' ideas. A few other people, since they heard about it, have launched similar things, but it's not getting media attention. We're launching a site in the next few days. We're going to have some articles about it tomorrow, and I've got to get together with Watson and Nimmo and kind of write up 15, 20 points of why we're doing this and what a real Tea Party should be. Hence, the coffee party, stronger than tea, because we're in serious times. That is coming up. There's also another piece that Paul Watson has where the mainstream media is demonizing anybody that questions the swine flu shot, saying that we believe that it's space alien DNA. No, we read the package that says it can cause cancer or sterilize you or cause Guillain-Barré syndrome or other neurological disorders. And it's now come out the whole thing was a hoax, a fraud to make money, that it's a dangerous vaccine. We've had the head of the 47-member commission of the EU on, a doctor, breaking down the fraud of this. And it's blown up in their face. So now they're running government-funded PSAs demonizing people. That's coming up here in a few minutes. But first, I wanted to get into this. I mean, this is so outrageous. It's a Infowars.com article by Aaron Dykes. And he has a larger YouTube video he put together with some of the history of China's one-child policy and what they do to women in China, the forced abortions, the rest of it. Mao killed, according to the U.S. government, 64 million people. The Chinese government says he killed more than 80 million, but they're proud of it. He broke up families. He put tens of millions of people in slave camps. I mean, this guy turned loose youth corps on the population. In the Cultural Revolution and the Great Leap Forward, this guy forced tens of millions of farmers off their land, poor farmers, and killed them. He made Stalin look like a choir boy. And to have CNN talking about how great communism is and how great Mao Zedong is, that's like in my film Endgame. We have the actual New York Times article. We went to UT and got it. Some of our researchers did. We should shoot video of us at the UT library getting the actual microfiche. New York Times, him praising Mao Zedong in 1976 and saying how great Mao Zedong is and how we need that in America. Why would some of the richest people in the world want communism? Because they take your money and they organize and run your life. They break up the family and they give the money and power to themselves. That's the big dirty secret here. Look at how our banks and government and corporations have moved almost all our power to China because they're the globalist model of the controlled society. So this article from Infowars.com titled CNN Tells Masses That Communism is Good for Women Despite China's Nightmare Legacy. And so you watch the short video clip and then you can read through a rundown. It's a pretty detailed article of what's really going on in China. And he's got some extra video clips that are more extensive than what we're about to play here right now. But here it is. CNN tells masses communism has been good for women. Oh, yes. Oh, women were slaves in the home. No, women could work in China if they wanted to. But in the internal government documents from Britain and the U.S. 100 years ago, Edward Bernays and others said, and it's now been declassified, Gloria Steinem's admitted she was hired by the CIA with Miss Magazine, how do we tax women as well? How do we get them in the workforce so we can tax people to such a high level families break up and so the state can raise children? So this is where they force you to work. They turn you into a slave. And here's CNN talking about how wonderful communist China is, how great it is. And they've got little blue Obama books for the school kids now, like Mao Zedong's little red book. So let's go ahead and play a short clip of CNN. Here it is.
Zhang Li is the president of the All China Women's Federation, one of the top-ranking women in the Chinese government, and witness to the major changes in women's status since the Communist Revolution. Among the first laws passed by Chairman Mao's government were statutes banning foot binding, bride selling, dowries, polygamy, and concubines. Women were invited to leave the home and join the labor force. Mao spoke those famous words, "Women hold up half the sky." If the statistics are any indication, communism has been good for women.
Okay. Now, they attach some good things for women to this piece and make it sound like Mao was a great guy. Women have forced abortions, which Obama supports. They follow the eugenics model. It's why they've been being industrialized. They made agreements with the U.S. government and Richard Nixon and George Bush, the Chinese ambassador from the U.S., the U.S. ambassador to China, to do this. They launched it in 75. By 81, it was forced abortion, one-child policy. Now, they proposed 3 months ago at Copenhagen in the UN a similar system for here in the United States. And the White House science czar and countless others, in fact, I'm looking for my eco-science, calls for sterilizing you through vaccines, through poison in the water. This is the type of stuff that's being pushed. And a lot of yuppies say, oh, yeah, there are too many people. Yeah, but they're poisoning your water, too. 52% of black people never get born. They get killed. And the left's the ones always, the controlled corporate left, pushing it. This is so diabolical, ladies and gentlemen, that we've come to the point where Mao Zedong, the greatest mass murderer in all of recorded history, no one has killed more than Mao Zedong, no one debates that, is praised. Shifting gears, Paul Joseph Watson wrote an article about the government running demonization pieces of, in fact, will you guys pull it up, because for some reason I couldn't see it in my stack. I thought I printed it today. Demonizing anyone who doesn't think the vaccine is good for you. It's kind of like those corn syrup ads you've seen. All the studies show it links to diabetes. All the studies show it's got mercury in it for some reason. That's Washington Post. More than, or right at half of corn syrup products have mercury in it. But they run an ad where the woman's the expert and the man's always an idiot. Or another neighbor woman's over and the woman explains to her she's a moron, that corn syrup's wonderful. Why do they do that? Not because women are stupid. Why do they target women? They target women because women make over 80% of the household purchases in all the major studies. And so they know women are the ones reading the back labels. Notice you can't buy chewing gum now in any store that I've seen that doesn't have aspartame in it, even if it's not sugar-free. What is aspartame? It's a genetically engineered E. coli bacteria that they feed toxic waste to. I'm not kidding. That then defecates a poisonous drug that is addictive, that is also 61 times sweeter than sugar per gram. Oh, you don't believe me? Just search engine the term manufacturing process of aspartame. It is the excrement of a genetically engineered bacteria. The Pentagon was trying to study chemical weapons in the 60s and came up with this, and they gave it to Donald Rumsfeld at Searle and Monsanto to come out with this. And I could just go on, ladies and gentlemen. It is an addictive chemical weapon, and they know it. But hey, you know, they run all these ads explaining you're kooks, you're crazy, but they wouldn't be running these ads saying E. coli poop is good. They wouldn't be running ads saying mercury's good for your brain. They wouldn't be running ads saying that all these toxic substances were good if people weren't waking up. And the federal government's dished out money to all the states to run these. This is this particular clip out of Kentucky. But there's a bunch of states running different variants of these. And if you question the vaccines and think anything in it's bad, you believe in space aliens and that the vaccine is space alien genetics. So we're going to go ahead and play this clip. Remember how during the whole swine flu freak out, they would issue fact sheets going, there's no mercury, it can't sterilize you, it can't hurt you. But then the actual insert that came with the drug says it does. So let's go ahead and play this clip. Here it is.